Good morning, it's Harvey Jackson. Just going to get through what was talked about as a potential derecho event or strong winds. Was it significant in the key areas of growing regions? And a little bit about the Manitoba drought maps. Now, I haven't posted them often, but we'll get into that anyway. One of the news events here as well, just to bring up the news first, China soymeal glut raises demand, doubts ahead of the U.S. soybean export season. So that could put some pressure on the market. I know Kyle talked about this yesterday as well. Uh, but when looking at soymeal prices versus the Chinese dalian prices, and it kind of highlights that in this article, and yet the blue here is the soymeal prices and how they've been going down, and dalian has been going steady at the same kind of timeline. So I don't know. Sometimes these articles don't report exactly the same facts, but anyway. But because of the glut in the meal, there's a glut in the oil, and they've got their prices of the soybean oil discounted for India to buy, which kind of surprises me. I thought they would have actually put it into some use in their own renewable fuel programs, or maybe they're just not a believer of that. They'll just build electric vehicles for everyone, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, but there's a few areas to highlight. The Indian imports a record 150,000 metric tons of soy oil because the shipping costs are lower. But here's a highlight or a thing that I, just want to make sure that everybody understands. India meets nearly 2/3 of its vegetable oil demand through imports by private companies of palm oil, mainly from Indonesia and Malaysia, as well as sunflower oil and soy oil from Russia, Ukraine, in addition to Argentina and Brazil. In India, elsewhere, soy oil is trading at a premium over palm oil, but in China, soy oil is trading at a discount, so that's why they bought it, which is just interesting to me that China is crushing all these seeds and they don't actually have a home for it. Like, why don't they stop? Anyway, here's the Derecho event and some of the high winds areas, and lots of reports of high winds, but did it actually do the damage? Is the question. I know there's damage out there. The only article that I could see on X was just talking about where the winds had went and the power outages, and you can see that it went from this area to this area, and there was a number of power outages, but yet to see what kind of crop damage there is. So here we're going to get into the Manitoba weather. Had trouble finding these maps, but also I don't want to quote Manitoba all that often, even though I've got a number of clients here. As the Saskatchewan weather is probably what's going to drive the prairie markets for sure. But you can see that there's some just in the last 7 days, and of course this is where I am in this area. Still haven't gotten hardly any rain at all, even in the last 7 days it's reported on here. So here's a contrast just in colors as well, but the percent of normal precipitation, you can see that a lot of Manitoba, the northern areas, Interlake, has not been getting the moisture, less than 50% of normal. But when you look at the accumulated in the same area, so what's normal might be all they get. In some other areas it's normal. But let's just say an example here, 60 to 80 millimeters is right here in the yellow area. So you obviously expect double that because you're right at the 50% of normal. So you would have 120 to 160 millimeters of rain, and my dad's rain gauge is I think it's at 76 millimeters. So not a lot of rain. Soil moisture, just another picture of the top few inches to the top 120 centimeter soil moisture, and you can see that the north is dry again, and you have maybe the southwest has actually got the most moisture, and along the border. Here's your growing degree days, and there's always this is always a cutoff here, but we're at near normal or 100% of growing degree days, and I'm going to say, with the lack of moisture, soil moisture, and the amount of smoke that we've had has probably saved the crops to have the yield that we have where we are getting. It's not finished by any means, but it still looks pretty good considering the little bit of rainfall that we've gotten. And I'm going to attribute that to the smoke, giving the plants time to be able to get this water out of the ground and not getting over hot. Corn heat units, the same idea. So if we just look at the overall, and it's finally updated just yesterday, the maps, but you can see the northern area, the black soil zone that normally grows the big bulk of the grain in Western Canada is under 40% drought or 40% of soil moisture. But when you put it on the drought index, that's similar to the the U.S. modeling, you're probably in severe and extreme drought index is way up here. This came off of the Ag X weather for Nutrien, and looks like we might be shifting a little bit more moisture, of course, when we're going to get ready to get some harvest going. And hopefully this shift doesn't sustain for months so that we can drag out our harvest progress. But anyway, you know, that tends to what happens. Your heat index is still in the major corn growing areas, of course, and extreme heat is in the middle of it as well for the bullseye. Here's your active weather going across the U.S. Storms are still hitting and adding moisture. So here's going into a couple of days from now, and that storm basically rolls right off. So this is kind of reiterating what we saw with the map showing moisture coming in. The 8 to 14 day temperature is still fairly high in the corn growing area and near normal for moisture. Moisture makes the difference on when you can add this heat for sure. Canola down, rapeseed is down as well. Soy oil is down along with that complex, and your wheat is just slightly up, and your other wheats are just basically taking a pause here. So canola, right at the top end of this channel, going down, going sideways here. It's holding on, but just barely, and you can see all these moving averages here. It's all consolidating right in one area, and if we look at the Fibonacci retracement, so we're trading right at that, just below the 78.6, above the 61.8. So if we get through there, we'll end up going into that area, but look for a breakdown, potentially back down into that 38.2. Here's your rapeseed, and you know, this is from a previous low that was made, but you can see how this Fibonacci actually works. It goes through the 50% trades at the 61.8 and then has failed almost all the way back to zero here. Just an illustration of since basically June 30th, soy oil has rallied 8.24%. Palm oil is 7.5. Canola has done absolutely nothing, and rapeseed absolutely nothing. Actually trading lower, and soy is even trading even lower. Soy is probably the worst of them all, trading 3% lower since June 30th. Soybean oil, that one's making new highs, even though it's a red day here today. Soybeans trading in the middle of this channel going down. Looks like it's going to retrace right back to zero. Your palm oil, looks like the 200-day is maybe where the market wants to kind of settle at the moment, but trading right at some of the short-term moving averages as well. Canadian dollar looks like it wants to get back down there. So we never did get to our objective at the top here, but we may want to look at equalizing some of those US dollar deficits on those accounts. US dollar index just beat that high, so now it's going to beat this one over here to make it, you know, whether it's going to keep going. Wheat, this is just a continuous chart, so it's not, it hasn't made the lows that we saw in May yet, but it's definitely approaching those values for sure. So looking for some support there. Same thing with Kansas, trying to make new lows. I believe it has closed a little bit lower. So looking for some degree of support there. Kansas or in Chicago, the exact same thing. Corn futures right at that previous low that we just made as well. And if it breaks that, we're probably getting into the 395, I think, is the next area. But let's talk about the positives here. The live cattle and the feeder cattle are just on fire. They keep on making new highs, defying gravity. And that's all I have for you today.